Well, good morning, everybody. It's super early. Wanted to say hello, all things Delphi. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. We have the case. Actually, Judge Fran Gull is going to be resigning. She's a super corrupt lady. We are super happy that she's going to be off the case. Hey, what's up, Teresa? What is up? I know it's been a while. I've been out of town for a work shift, so I have not been in the area. But yeah, I'm super excited about this Fran Gull thing. She is gone. She is not with us. Good morning, Shay. What is up? So it is. What time is it right now in Costa Mesa? It is 3:47 in the morning. Sorry, my hair looks crazy. Got back from a work event. I fell asleep, and now I'm back ready to rock and roll. It actually doesn't say anybody's live or watching, which is kind of crazy, but I'm glad everyone could join us this morning. Hey, Teresa. So let's go through some of the things. I had a 45-minute discussion with Connie Dillman. We're going to be bringing Connie Dillman in the show. It's been very difficult for her to want to actually be on the show. She's going through some tough times. She's a really sweet lady. She 100% thinks Ron Logan did it. During our discussion, I asked her some pretty tough questions on, do you think Ron's the killer? What was Ron like with other children in the area? And I guess there was a 14-year-old girl that he was really into and was always trying to show her his horses. It was, hey, Jenny, what is up? So I guess he was always trying to show her his horses and lead her down that pathway. So I thought it was absolutely insane when she was telling me that type of stuff. It was nerve-wracking. She had told me that he looked like Bridge Guy. They dated a while back, and it was a pretty incredible conversation, some of the things she was saying. I know I haven't seen a lot of people for a while just because I've been out of town. Yeah, definitely free Richard Allen. So just to go over, some of the things she said. She thinks Richard Allen was wrongly accused. She wants me to meet her next week down in not Delphi, but I meet halfway. We're going to go to, she wants to go to Red Lobster. I said I would take her out before we brought her on the show. So it was something to kind of ease her into the situation, which I felt was pretty big. But yeah, so we had a great conversation. She said Ron abused her for years when they were dating, and it was absolutely crazy. So it was a lot of different topics that we were actually talking about. She said before she knew anything about the murders, she saw Ron on the bridge. She's like, that's definitely Ron. That's definitely his voice. She was really upset with News Nation because News Nation cut a lot of clips that weren't okay. So she talked for a long time, and then News Nation shrank it down to only a few clips. So she was kind of really upset with Ashley Banfield, who did the interview, because of the fact that it wasn't a long thing. Any who we have never heard a word from, any of Rick and Kathy's friends? Yeah, so there's been people in the group chat that have told me to reach out to people that I'm going to. Yep, she called the police about 5 times after she saw him on the bridge, and they absolutely did nothing. So I thought that was funny. She thought Ron was connected to people in the area where they kind of disregarded him. I don't know. I can't recall exactly what she was telling me about that, but she thought Ron was a connected man in the area for sure. I thought that was very interesting. But the big thing was the horses. She thinks, when I was talking to her, she thinks Ron was actually walking from the other side of the bridge and turned around when he seen the girls. She did mention a little bit about, yeah, Jenny, that's my thought. Were they all so intimidated or what? They were for sure intimidated. The whole town was intimidated by this. When you have the FBI and things that are looking on the case. But we had a lot of, I'm just trying to remember all the other things that she was telling me. And there's some stuff she wanted me to kind of hold close to my chest that I wasn't really supposed to say. His appeal is pending. That is another one. Yeah, Delphi, the more and more I dig deep into this, it is evil. I'm getting a lot of bad emails. I'm getting a lot of stuff on that Dropbox, where there are a lot of people saying that Anthony Shots, Keegan Klein brought the girls to the bridge that day for Ron. Jenny, let's see this, what Jenny said. She called 5 times, like Elvis Field's sister, finally calling Homeland Security just to get a response. I take them both seriously. Yep, for sure, for sure. I guess I'm just a different kind of friend. Yes, Jenny, that's my thought. There are a lot of suspicious deaths surrounding that case. There is. But she was 100% set on Ron Logan. She said the abuse that the stalking, Ron would not let her get away. Ron was constantly stalking her. Even when they were broken up, she couldn't get around him. She thought Ron was going to kill her. She was really scared for her own safety with this guy, with how intense of a man he was and how physically violent he was towards her. And she thought that her first initial reaction was she thought that Ron killed those girls. She thought Ron was going to kill somebody, whether it's an upcoming girlfriend or her. She really felt like her life was at danger. So let's look up some of the other things here. Yep. I definitely heard about the meth stuff and like Ron with the meth and a lot of different things related to that. I do think there's something to do, just a coincidence, and I don't know about the group chat, but just a coincidence with Keegan Klein on the day of the murders. He's messaging to the girls. Is he telling them to come to the bridge to meet with Ron? Was there a connection with Ron? The more and more I dig into this, I feel like there's something to do with that. I could be wrong. I mean, the FBI did look into him. I'm sure they checked his phone. I'm sure they checked all his accounts, but it was just too coincidental about all that. Yeah, Kathy Shank was a good friend. Connie actually called her a big skank. Excuse my language. Called Kathy Shank a gigantic slut in the area. I don't know how true that is, but that's one thing that stuck out to me. They're covering up the Dropbox. She would know, and she's not out starting a YouTube channel and inserting herself in the case. Yeah, I know. I've talked to Connie a few different times now. I really have to be careful. But she definitely said Kathy was a skank in the area. So if anybody has credibility on that, let's look up this Elvis Fields thing for a minute. Is it true that they lost like all the information in the interviews on some of these people, or was I dreaming about that last night? God, I feel like there was stuff about that, like lost interview tapes, but it's so early in the morning here. It's 3:00 in the morning, and I don't know I'm on Central Time, so it's 5:54 me. Yeah, didn't they lose like 70 days of interviews? She wasn't finding the lost tips. Here, let me look up Elvis Fields for a minute. Elvis Fields. Someone said, why isn't Elvis Fields being discussed more? I'm only learning about Elvis Fields today, and what I'm learning is pretty shocking. I'm honest. I'm hoping someone tells me this is all nonsense. Law enforcement pulled Elvis Fields for questioning in the Rushville Police Department. At the end of the interview, took Elvis's DNA and then explained to Elvis the reason for taking his DNA. At the conclusion of the interview, Trooper Kevin Murphy drove Elvis back to home. After Trooper Murphy dropped off Elvis's home, Elvis walked towards his home, then turned around and approached Kevin Murphy's car. After close to Trooper Murphy's vehicle, Elvis asked Trooper Murphy, if my spit is found on one of the girls, but I have an explanation for it, would I be in trouble? That is so weird. What does everybody think about Elvis Fields? That is so weird. Why would somebody say if you found spit on the girls, if this is true? Ron and Elvis are definitely in the mix. Okay. And like Ron saying, like, talking about the girls, going, well, I don't know if you're going to find anything about me killing the girls or not exactly word for word verbatim, but Ron wasn't saying no, like I didn't kill the girls. He was just like, well, if there's something, I don't know if you're going to find something that points to me or something, in that term. Okay, so Elvis told his sister Mary Jacobs he was present at the killings. This is like the craziest thing I'm reading in the Franks hearing. Elvis told Mary Jacobs he was present at the killings. Mary Jacobs told law enforcement that on February 14th, Elvis was rambling, hyper, borderline incoherent. So was he like a meth head? He was talking about having a brother and was now part of a gang. Elvis told Mary that he had been on the bridge with two girls that were killed. Elvis told her that someone named Abigail was a pain in the ass and a troublemaker. She said Elvis tried to give her a blue jacket. After Elvis made these statements and Mary heard about the girls being found, her and her husband drove 2 hours to Delphi to talk to police. Law enforcement followed up, so in December 2018, she listed the help of Missy Moore, a friend who worked for Homeland Security. She then was interviewed in 2018. She was given a polygraph in February 2018 and determined to be truthful regarding what Elvis told her almost a year and a half earlier. Law enforcement interviewed Elvis on February 18th. It was videotaped and only provided to the defense in September 2023. Elvis also made incriminating statements to his sister Joyce in autumn of 2017. I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm going away for a long time. I was on a trail and that bridge with those girls when they were murdered. There were two other people there with me. It happened. I spit on one of the girls after they were killed. When questioned by police, Elvis insists he remembers being home all day. His phone records show, still trying to find concrete evidence that they actually got access to his phone records. His phone did not move from the same spot in Rushville 10:30 a.m. Okay, until 7:30 p.m. Yet a friend of his, Rod Abrams, stated to police that he, Elvis, and others were visiting someone in the hospital that day, and Elvis had a phone on him. When the police said they would check phone records, Ron said hospitals cut off cell phone signals as it messes with hospital equipment. There's so much more, but why is not being discussed? If it is being discussed, why is it being dismissed? I have no interest in conspiracy theories. I don't have much stock in the Otism theory, but it is hard evidence that surely can't be ignored. Let me state clearly, I'm just someone following the case. I don't live in the U.S. I flip-flop between RA's guilt, which I don't agree with, and innocence. Let me look up another thing here. Jenny, they do not have any North Carolina Men's Health Party lies. All right, so it was lies. Look up Rod Abraham's photo. I wonder if that tear by Abby's eye is actually Elvis's spit. Okay, I'm going to look up Elvis Fields. I'm sorry because let me look up Elvis Fields, Delphi. What does this Joker look like here? I'm having a hard time seeing what this guy looks like. Oh, man, he looks methed out. If this is really Elvis Fields, hold on. Ooh. Here, I'm going to put this photo up. Yowza. All right, hold on, everybody. See if I can go under slides. God, I am getting sick. I've been in California on this work convention, and I feel like I'm totally getting a cold. My throat is getting so sore. All right, here's a picture. Is this Elvis Fields? Yeah, I agree. Elvis is probably in Dropbox. All right, so this person right here is Elvis Fields. Holy shoot. He is deranged. He's a scary individual. Okay, let's look up. Someone told me to look up Yep, that's him. Okay. Somebody also told me to look up Rod Adams photo. Who does everybody think the young sketch is? Who is the all points bulletin of the young sketch? Who is that? His sister. What is this? His sister passed a polygraph and passed polygraph. Stephanie Thompson killed arson. Jenny, no, they do not have NC messages or house party. Look up Rod Adams photo. Okay. Rod Adams. Okay, let me look up Rod Adams. Okay, and don't let me double check. Rod Adams Delphi. I don't see anything on Rod Adams. I see an African American male. No, he's an accountant. I don't see anything on Rod Adams. I'm sorry. Unless it's no Texas guy. There's a white guy that's from who's 84. There's nothing coming up on Google under Rod. Or wait. I wonder if Elvis is tier. Yep. Elvis is probably in the Dropbox too. So who is the younger photo of the boy? Do you think it was just a boy passing the bridge? Do we think that's Logan, Brad Holder's son? Like, who the heck is the young photo? Because like for me, it's very hard for me to wrap my hold on, sorry, my collar. For me, it's very hard for me to wrap my head around from somebody being so young to someone being so old. Like, it's one thing to get a witness testimony. You know, it's one thing to get a description of somebody wrong by just passing them by, but to say somebody looks like they're 20 from their 50, that is a big gap in age. Derek. I always thought Cody or Logan. Friends with Elvis. Abrahams. I'd say Logan Holder with the mask over his face. Huh. That's true. Let's see Logan Holder. Okay. I do have pictures of Logan Holder, but there was only one I could find. It was the one with Abby. They're like doing like a little selfie together. Let's see. Logan. Hold on. Oh, there's some other photos of Logan. So Logan, God, that does look like Logan. So you have a skinnier version of Logan. Who is this Logan? Cooper Hills. No, that can't be Logan, right? Desert. No. I've seen the one photo of Logan. I'm just trying to see if there's any other Fogans of Logan. Let me see Pinterest. Because we have the one where him and Abby are like close together. Wait a minute. Does Logan Holder have a Twitter that's I can't tell because this I don't want to put up people that aren't Logan Holder. So there's one that I'm verified that I know it's him. Daniel Pearson, Teresa Liebert, sketch looks like Elvis. The young boy was described as beautiful. There's a pic of Logan and Brad in their Mason. Okay, in their Mason garbage. Let me see. Brad and Logan. Delphi. Sorry, I'm kind of shooting from the hip this morning. It's so early, but I know I haven't popped on. Okay, let's see who the guys are mentioned. Here we go. Another thing that I don't understand is why didn't they exclude Richard Allen's DNA? There was so much DNA at the crime scene. I don't know if there was enough DNA to get a matching profile, but there definitely was enough DNA to exclude it. And a thing that Connie told me was Ron had the same exact gun. Like, why didn't they test Ron's gun? Because it was kind of a setup. But okay, let's see. Defense lawyers in the 136-page Memorandum, the document mentions Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall. Who are they, and how, if at all, are they related to Abby and Libby's murder? Are RA's lawyers mentioning them to try to mislead people? Let me see here real quick. Brad's Facebook is still up. He does have a pro Scandinavian stuff in the runes. Sorry, 1 second. Just put. He does have. I'm trying to see here. Yes, he put up stuff. Brad Holder. I Googled him earlier and saw a TikTok pop up. I legitimately thought it was Richard. Watched the video, him putting on hats, joking about people thinking he's the killer. Interesting, he posted on 2 separate occasions in May in 2017 that people were spreading rumors and accusing him and being involved. He has been painting Odin hanging upside down in the tree. So what does everybody think about that? They did test Ron's gun. It was not excluded. I think it's Brad's Facebook. Interesting. The young boy was described as beautiful. They did test Ron's gun. Let me see. Testing of Ron's gun. Do documentation on that. And the FBI search warrant, I guess it did say they did take all firearms and computers. Brad Weber's gun too. But see, like when you're testing a gun, and you're chambering it, it's very hard to pinpoint whose it is. Hey, good morning, Mimi Tanya. Let me look up Brad Weber in Delphi. Let me get my face out of the screen. It's a little too early. I stayed out too late. Let's see here. How do I hide my? Okay. Brad Weber. All right, so if we had a rank, okay, so for sure Ron Logan, for me, for sure Ron Logan had something to do with it. What about Keegan Klein? How can we all tie this together? Let me see if I can grab a pen. I'm staying at a Westin. Just a second. Let me get my notes. How can we all tie this together? Because that's what I really want to make sure. I want to make sense of all this. So we have, I'm going to write this down. So we have Ron Logan. So if we had to lay out people that were definitely there on that trail that people think, let's see. I don't think they tested Ron's gun. Then his son sold them all. Yep, I heard that too. Just texted you a pic of Brad and Logan. Okay, did you text it to my phone or the Discord? Let's see. Okay, all right. Let's see here. Jesus, yeah. That is a good-looking kid. Yikes. I'm going to save that. Let me see if I can upload that actually to our let me email that. The only thing that's different is his hair isn't, but again, in All Points Bulletin, you could get the hair wrong. You know, the hair was a little bit more fluffier. I'm going to send this to my email so everybody can see it. Thanks, Jenny. Ron and Brad Weber's gun were not excluded. Ober decided on the stand that they would be be excluded and compared to RA's gun. She's an idiot. Yeah. Very, very weird. Like when I read that actual testimony, when I read or I heard with, I think it was either Bob Mata or there's another lawyer on the case, or no, Erica Burkhart was talking about how she shot the gun, which was crazy. Like she chambered it. She couldn't find it. I was shocked that she actually fired the gun to match the bullets. And when Erica said that again, I didn't read that, and then they didn't let an actual metallurgist part of the defense. I thought that was crazy. Hey, Jen's hooked. How's it going? Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, let's see here. It is early in California. I am not a fan. Okay, I just got an email from somebody. Hey, Ted, just got back from work. It's a little late after 1 p.m. right now. I do have deposits at the bar at 9 a.m. Feel free to text me after 10. Yeah, there's someone that wants to come on that is thinks Brian Koberger's innocent, which I'm definitely willing to hear people out on that too. I personally think, if anything, could there have been somebody else involved? I don't know. I mean, Brian Koberger admitted it. He put himself in jail. I feel like he didn't want his mother, his family to go through all that, to stand trial. That the evidence of him driving around in that white Elantra so many times and the DNA putting him there and then admitting to it is pretty hard for me to get over. I'm in Portland. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jens. Nick Moline is a member of the same Miss Age. Hello, peeps. Big props for Ted. Wow, Jenny, you're in Portland. So are you in my time zone? It's 4:00 in the morning. I was out at a work event drinking red wine till about, I don't know. Beer, red wine is all they had. They didn't have hard alcohol, thank God, because I was socializing with a bunch of people. And I think I went to bed like at 9:30. And I literally got up and I'm like, holy cow, it's 6:00 my time. He was guilty. No way Koberger did that all. He's not guilty. He did not want the firing squad. Oh, that's a good point. It's a good point, Shay. Yeah, 6 a.m. here. Yep. I'm on 6 a.m. time too. That's why I decided I haven't been doing it. Okay, Nick Leland is head grand poobah of exactly Shay. Okay, so let's try putting the pieces together. So we have Ron Logan, right? So we have, and again, if I sound repetitive, I'm sorry. I'm going to put all the facts down on each person. And if you guys could help me kind of go through this so we can make a master list. Yes, Jenny, it is 4:14 a.m. Okay, so we got Ron Logan. We have false alibi. We have, why am I drawing a blank here? He actually didn't want them to keep searching his property from, God, what report was that I read about him being agitated and not like letting them completely always onto his property. Remodeled the bathroom. There's that false alibi. And then, no, I'm sorry, jailhouse confession, even though there was something on Reese Davis, something to do with a polygraph test. But since we don't have documentation on what was said with that polygraph test, and I reached out to Reese Allen's wife, I can get more clarification in that. Yeah, nothing makes BK innocent. Yeah. A master list would probably have 20 to 30 people on it. Yep. Let me see. I'm just reading. Okay, so we have Ron Logan, right? Okay, so that's my number one suspect. But now this Elvis Fields is talking about spitting on the girl. And so why is he confessing to a murder if he didn't do it? I can't wrap my head around that. Why would somebody in their right mind talk like that? But did they clear him? That's what I want to know. Did they clear him? Did they exclude him from the DNA? Rod was at the hospital in Rushville. So, okay, so I left it where Rob was at the hospital in Rushville. So he wouldn't have been around, but there's so much more. Why is this not being discussed? I have no interest in. Okay, wait here. It would have seemed. Baldwin says he offered of proof for a third party suspect. He asked if Allen had asked police if I spit on one of the girls. Judge Gall tells the defense we had discussed 1,000 times. You have no evidence to tie these people to the crime. Baldwin says, I believe there's more of a nexus. Hospitals do not cut off cell phone signals. I've been a nurse for 25 years. Patients always have their cell phones at bed. I don't know, at bedsies. I don't know. This is a typo by this person. Bedsies using them. Doctors need their cell phones. Okay, also, please like, share, and subscribe if you can. I'd really appreciate it. The fact that she got a friend at Homeland Security involved for investigator to even give her time of day is so effed up knowing what we do know now. Let me see. Some of the witnesses even had to badge police. Okay, this is just all a bunch of Reddit users. It's kind of just going all over the place. I can't speak for delay. Okay, wait. Does somebody know if Elvis Fields had was he handicapped? Did he have autism or something where he may have said something where he didn't mean it? They weren't at the hospital. At his car. Wait. Okay, wait. This is what Jenny said. It's his car, his DNA on the sheath. Oh no, yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, Brian Koberger to me is guilty. But again, I'm not gonna I'm always gonna keep an open minded for people on here. I have someone that wants to come on and tell her side. I mean, you can tell your side, keep it going. For those of you that, because I know there are quite a bit of people that are kind of they don't think Brian Koberger did it. I personally do, but I mean, if you want to give us a reason, why not? But yeah, that Amazon thing kind of did seal the deal a little bit. Teresa, I'm willing to hear opinions, but the fact is his DNA is on the sheath, and he came back and circled the house afterwards. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of evidence going towards it, towards him. That's a tough one. He's not delusional. He's also tied to Brad Holder. Wait. What is this? He's not delusional. He's also tied to Brad Holder, who also made incriminating statements. Yeah, so wasn't Brad Holder joking and talking about Ron? Wasn't there a Facebook clip? I thought I actually showed that, where he's talking about Ron Logan on a Facebook post. Elvis is a low IQ, but he's been married, has kids, and has a history of violence. Okay, so he's not that incapable. I mean, if you're married, you have kids, you're not. Okay, wait. Let me see some of these Ron Logan and Brad Holder posts. I know in the file, it is in the FBI files or the Indiana State Police. I don't know if it's a defense file. Ron Logan and Brad Holder Facebook Facebook stuff. Let's see. Okay. So I'm sure you guys belong to this page. I'm on the Justice for Rick Allen. Ooh, this is an interesting. That's a little bit of a stretch to say that looks like Richard Allen, but I want to show you guys. This looks like a stretch to me. But here they all are together. I think there's meth involved. Obviously, I think that's not something new. I think there's definitely a meth connection here. Meth, you get agitated. I think he wanted, I think Logan wanted to, well, I don't know if they said, I thought they said there was semen found, just not enough in the girls. I'm sorry, it's too early here, and I just wanted to do a live, so I'm jumping around. Is that Ron Logan over there? So you got Brad Holder. I don't know who those two people are. That's not Ron Logan, unless that's from him from 10 years ago. Yeah. Brad Holder does look like Bridge Guy too, but with the limp to me and the cell phone data pinging him around that same exact time. Another thing is, how do we know the time of death from the girls? Is that when their bodies were getting cold? Is that how the forensic can determine time of death? When it's not like post-mortem, but when how to determine time of death? I'm drawing a blank because it's early, and I think I still have a little bit of too much beer in me here from late last night, so I'm a little foggy. Time of death. How to tell time of death in a murder investigation. All right, let's just read real quick. I'm sure a lot of you already know this, and you're probably laughing at me. Determining the time of death in a murder investigation involves a multifaceted forensic approach, primarily using physical changes like the Elgor mortis, body's cooling, rigor mortis, stiffness, livor mortis, blood pooling, combined with analyzing decomposition, okay, insect activity, that makes sense, stomach contents, and environmental factors to determine a post-mortem interval estimate. Exact timing is rare. A medical examiner or a coroner uses these methods, often starting with rectal temperature loss, but factoring in surroundings like temperature and humidity for accuracy. God, isn't this so interesting? This is just scary stuff. The body cools from 98.6 at a roughly 1 to 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour until it matches the ambient temperature. Core temperature is measured rectally or in the liver for better accuracy, factoring in clothing and environmental. You know, it's like dealing with a baby. You check a baby rectally for signs of a fever more than under the armpit. Rigor mortis, muscle stiffness. Muscle stiffens within hours of death, peaking around 12 hours, then relaxing, which I did not know, by 36 to 48 hours, but varies greatly with activity before death. The blood pooling. Blood settles to the lowest point due to gravity. Okay, that's very interesting. Gravity causing purplish discoloration, which can indicate if the body was moved after death. Decomposition and putrefaction. Forgive me with my pronunciation of words sometimes. It's the Chicago school districts. Stages of decay, including greenish discoloration and marbling, blood pigment spreading in vessels occur at different rates depending on warmth and moisture. Forensic entomology, insects. The presence and life stage of insects, especially flies and their maggots, provide precise timelines as different species arrive at specific decomposition stages. You know, that's where you get your like Avarian scavengers too, if it's long enough. Stomach contest estimates emptying time, but is affected by food type, alcohol, and meds. Corneal clouding and vitreous potassium. Eyes become, this is a tricky one, opaque, OPAQUE. So you have like Q, opaque, within hours if open, or up to a day if closed. Potassium levels in eyes fluids increase after death. Supporting clues and advanced techniques, environmental factors, digital forensics, phone records, social media. You know, the girl's phone just stopped. That's kind of how you know this, with how, you know, how crazy we are these days on social media. We're absolutely insane with how much we're glued to our phone. So as soon as that phone stops, you know something's up. I think Kelsey is an evolve. I is awesome too. I happen to like this. Presumptive positive test. Wait. Presumptive. Hold on. I'm just catching up with this. Presumptive positive test for semen in both girls was never done. And it was never excluded. Why wouldn't you exclude it then? Okay, wait. Jenny knows a lot of stuff about this case. They don't have an exact time of death. They didn't take a body temp. Do we have somebody in the chat that's being not so nice? That's not Ron Logan. Okay. They're all connected with methamphetamines. He's way off the trail. Okay, we're going to put you in timeout. How do we put, you know, I don't have a problem with people giving their opinions about me. He's way off the trail. Well, I mean, if you follow the Ron Logan FBI trail and the false alibi, that's definitely on trail. And if you don't think that's on trail, then, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to make Jenny. Let's see. Yep, it's super early. I feel that it may be deliberate. Kelsey could have had his hair come up from the sweatshirt. Is it 24 hours? Good morning, Tracy. Good morning. Okay, let's put this guy. Oh, thanks. Don't follow this guy. I mean, come on, you got to be nice to me in the chat. I'm doing this at 4:00 in the morning. This guy's not hot on the trail. This guy, oh my God. Like, give me a break. Sorry, I'm just catching up with everybody's chat. Okay, let's look up some other stuff here. And again, this is 4:00 in the morning. I just jumped on. I haven't seen everybody in a while. I may not have all my stuff together because it's 4:00 in the morning. But don't follow this guy. You should try to get Kelsey interview on video that she did. Okay, let me see this Kelsey everybody's talking about. Let's see, Kelsey Delphi. And I think it's important to start with the beginning of the trial and then we move forward. So it's not always about like, if there is a lot of tentacles, let's start from the beginning and really take it like layer by layer approach on each person, right? Let's not just assume one theory and run with it and think this is the theory and this is, play know-it-all, right? I'm going to be the one that's going to be going into Delphi. We're going to be getting more information. Plus hair in Libby's hand, no DNA. Teresa's hair get wrapped around fingers all the time. Yeah. Hairs get wrapped around fingers all the time. Hairs transfer easily when it's long. Exactly. Okay. Search Kelsey sweatshirt lie. Okay. I'll do that. Don't follow this guy. Okay. The Kelsey sweatshirt lie refers to Kyle Kelsey's promotional video for her Not Gonna Lie podcast merch. I think I've seen this where she jokingly pretended her baby spit up on the new sweatshirt, making it seem like a real life mess. But it was a stage moment to show the authentic reality of motherhood. The lie was the accident highlighting the relatable, unfiltered side of her brand. Kyle Kelsey, the promotional video. Delphi exposes Kelsey German's biggest lie. Why did she lie? Okay, 1 second. Okay, I wish I could play this actually. She never dropped them off. Yeah, she was acting very odd. I was watching some of the videos on Kelsey. She was acting very odd. Hold on, let me put this up. Kelsey overemphasized she made them take a sweatshirt, but Abby was wearing a sweatshirt in the car. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can put this one up. And a stage. She lies constantly. Abby was found. She lies constantly. No, just Google Kelsey German Delphi. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I don't think she's directly involved. All right, so if we could name, I'm going to ask the group chat here. It's 5 a.m. right now. Okay, so I have Ron Logan. Who would we put as our suspects? So if we had our top suspects, and I'm not going to rank them in any individual order, but for people you want me to research, we've done a fair share of Ron Logan. Do we agree with Elvis Fields? Would Elvis Fields be someone that needs a deeper dive into? Brad Holder. Okay, Brad Holder. Yep, Brad Holder and his connection with Ron Logan and posting in the FBI. I bet I could. I wonder if I still have that. Brad Holder, number one. I agree. Okay, who was Elvis Fields? I can reread it to you. I think Mike Patty is Tabitha from Bewitched, all grown up with a nose twitch. That's funny. Classic, no, but I have sweatpants. Questions. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Sunflower. Okay, Shelby, I will read quickly again the Elvis thing. I don't want to bore everybody, but here I'll do a real quick rundown on it. And I was showing his picture. All right, so this is what Elvis Fields. In 2018, law enforcement pulled Elvis Fields in for questioning to Rushville Police Department. At the end of the interview, took Elvis's DNA and explained to Elvis the reason for taking it. At the conclusion of the interview, Trooper Kevin Murphy drove Elvis back to his home. Elvis, he was talking about having a brother and was now part of a gang. Elvis told Mary that he had been on the bridge with the two girls that were killed. Elvis told her that someone named Abigail was a pain in the ass and a troublemaker. She said Elvis tried to give her a blue jacket. I'm in trouble. I'm going away for a long time. I was on the trail and that bridge with those girls. They were murdered. There were two other people with me. It happened. I spit on one of the girls after they were killed. So sorry, I just wanted to give you a brief rundown for anyone that just hopped on and didn't hear that. Okay, so Brad Holder, wait, I'm going to pull up. So I have a Google Drive. I'm going to start showing some pictures of the Brad Holder and what's his face? 1 second. God, where is it? Oh, I forgot what it's called. Delphi. Oh, wait. In GitHub. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to post some of the Ron Logan, Brad Holder stuff, and we can kind of walk through that. It is early in the morning, everyone. Good morning. Pacific time is an early start. Okay, look at Elvis Fields. Hi, Sunflower. Yep, we've been looking at Elvis Fields. Was the purple jacket found in the creek? Okay, wait. I'm pulling up this thing real quick here. Exhibits. Let's see. The Google Drive. What is this? 1 second. Let me minimize some of these other screens. Discovery note, prison timelines, trial where RA parked. Exhibits. I think this is where we get into the Brad Holder stuff. I don't know why the one guy was talking bad and he's always commenting on my chat. I mean, it must like the channel if he's always on here commenting. The West Coast is the best coast. Yep, yep. I've heard that before. That's a good saying. Let's see. Okay, we want to go back like circa 20, I think 17 for a second. 1 second. These take a little bit of time to open up. Oh, what is going on? And again, I just hopped on, so I usually like to do research before hopping on. I may have shot from the hip, but I just wanted to do it live. I figured it was early in the morning. Still got to work. I'm at this work event, but I wanted to see if I could. Let's see what I'm looking at here. Brad holders, here we go. Wow, how did I hit it? There's so many files right now. And Brad holders deleted Facebook post. Let's see this one. Yeah, well, this is his anytime workout. Wait, hold on. This is just him checking into anytime Logan Sport at 12:14. I mean, for a guy that worked out, the guy could like never like lose weight. I don't know if it's like insulin levels. I mean, I don't understand for as much that guy claimed he was always working out. 1 second. Hey Ted, hey, what's up? They are the troll farm. Who is the troll farm? Is the troll farm in here? Or the Legion of Boom or whoever was emailing me saying that they're gonna like come beat me up or something? Yeah, I know. The run the case online. I mean, come on. We all can do our due diligence. The World Wide Web is access to anyone that wants to do it. Yeah. Yeah, the troll farm. Like, okay, what are you gonna do? Like, I mean, please don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess they could like report you and try to ruin things and ruin your channel because that's how nice of people they are. Okay, wait, let me look up another Brad. Brad Holder's Valentine's Day post. I thought I saw one. Wait, phone call from law enforcement to Ron Logan. No. Brad Holder's deleted post. Brad Holder's Happy Valentine's Day post. Let's see this one. This is a goofy one. I mean, this is the day that the girl's murders or the day after. I mean, there are some people that just do crazy posts. I mean, if you look back at my posts back from like, when I was in my 20s, I was saying like stupid stuff online. Don't know. I mean, I guess he's in his 40s doing this, but let's see here. This was a Brad Holder post I'm going to share with you. Valentine's Day. I'm sure you guys probably saw this because a lot of you people are expert at this case. Yep. Yeah. I'm never dating anybody from a troll farm. 100%. Cool. I'll definitely check out timelines. All right. So this is Brad Holder here. Let's see more stuff. The internet's so slow here at this Westin hotel I'm at. Brad Holder. What is this one? Okay, I'm just going to read it. Brad Holder, February 14, 2017. Okay, here's my words of inspiration for today. Today is TYRSDAY, which I don't know, Thursday. I also drew the rune Tawaz and Galaxy runes. All this past weekend, in the beginning of this week, I've been drawing runes that have to do with giving up the baggage in my life or cutting away the old. What I believe the gods are trying to tell me is sometimes in our lives we have to make sacrifices and it hurts. But Like the God made sacrifices to become who they were, so we must, like a butterfly has shed his cocoon to become that butterfly. So we soldier through hardships to become better. This guy is an absolute lunatic. Even how he speaks like he's deranged. I mean, there's something, this guy's insane. Okay, let's see what this is. I think a lot of people missed the point the defense was trying to make. They're not saying it was definitely RL or BH or KK, just more evidence against them than RA. Exactly. Yep, I agree. Yeah, at the end of the day, we are trying to clear Richard Allen for being innocent. So, like, the defense is not trying to prove one person or another. They're trying to cast a lot of doubt and, show that show Odinism right now with the appeal. But yeah, I mean, the purpose of the defense is to get Richard Allen to be not guilty and to throw as many wrenches poke as many holes into these stories. Okay, let's see if we got more Brad Holder stuff. Hold on a second. There is a ton of Brad Holder stuff. Elvis Field's first confession in the morning. Let's see. Daniel Pearson. Let's see what this is. I'm going to read his confession by the FBI. Oh, I read that. Okay, so February 14th, FBI first confession. According to Mary Jacobs, on the morning of February 14th, her brother Elvis Fields got back from Delphi, handed her a blue coat with blood on it, and said, "We're kind of in a gang." Elvis was rambling, hyper, and borderline incoherent. Elvis told her that he had been on a bridge with two girls that were killed. Elvis told her someone named Abigail was a troublemaker, so he had to give her horns. This guy is a sick son of a bitch. Okay, next one. Okay, Daniel Pearson interview. These are just really the small clippings. It's very strange. Wait, Daniel Pearson's sketch. Let's see this. Yeah, this doesn't look anything like. So the Pearson sketch, I'll let you guys see it. This doesn't look like, I don't know what people think of Daniel Pearson, but I'm going to read. I'm going to show this, and then I'm going to read what Daniel Pearson had to say. Just give me a second here. Okay, let's see. I don't know what anybody thinks of this Daniel Pearson character, but I'm going to show you this. I'm going to read some of his stuff. So this is a sketch that they had from Daniel Pearson. And then we're going to go into his interview, February 14th, 2017. I'm sure it's just going to be the smallest clipping, which all this stuff is. It's very weird. Daniel Pearson got to platform number 1 at approximately 3:20 to 3:30. Daniel and Shelby Hicks saw a white Subaru wagon, dark car. That's weird. Dark car, a man over 55 years old, peppered hair and beard, solid black painter or golfer's hat, blue jeans, tan and cream lumberjack. There we go with like the tan lumberjack style, or I guess this is a shirt with black and gray mixed in. The man had a camera who appeared to have taken a photo of Daniel and Shelby Hicks. When showed a photo of Dave McCain, showed by who, Daniel said that was him, a man walking a dog. At 3:20 p.m., Daniel got a text or got a phone call. At 3:30 p.m., Daniel texted the person who called him, and they texted back until 3:35 p.m. At approximately 3:45 p.m., Daniel and Shelby Hicks headed back to Mears' lot. and left the same time around 3:50 to 4 o'clock. Okay, let's go to pics taken by family during the search. Let's see if this how graphic this is to show. I think we showed this on the last one. Let me see. Oh, this is sad. Okay, we're not going to show this. I want to go more into suspects than these terrible photos. Okay, Shelby Hicks. Shelby Hicks interview. Let's see what she had to say. Okay, Shelby Hicks interview number 1. God, everything is such a short interview. I mean, just like literally 2 sentences. Oh, okay, this is a little bit bigger. February 13, Shelby Hicks took her car in for repair, then went for a hike with boyfriend Daniel Pearson. Shelby got the call that her car was ready at 12:40 p.m. Shelby thinks they got to the trails around 2:30 p.m. Wow, when her dad called. When they parked at Mears lot, there were other vehicles parked there. Her and Daniel walked towards FB, the Freedom Bridge, for 5 minutes, and then went back toward the Monon High Bridge. She told the jury it takes 10 to 15 minutes to get to the bridge. Shelby said they saw an older gentleman who had a camera, Cheyenne and Shelby Duncan from school, and a few other kids. Shelby told the jury she was on platform number 1 before Cheyenne and Shelby Duncan arrived, and she hung out on platform for 15 to 20 minutes before walking back to her car. She didn't remember if other cars were there when she left. Shelby said the next day Daniel wanted to tell law enforcement what they seen. They went to police, but were asked to come back at another time. So they went back that evening. Shelby met with law enforcement on February 14th, 2017, and again in March of 2017. Shelby said her cellular phone in 2017 was Sprint, but law enforcement never took her phone to extract data. She told the jury she never walked across the high bridge, and on that day she did not hear anything on the bridge, and she left before her friends returned from the south end of the bridge. When the jury asked Shelby if she arrived at the bridge at 2:55, she said she could have been. Narrative: Shelby Hicks arrived at the trail with Daniel Pearson and parked at Mears lot around 2:30 p.m. A white vehicle was already parked there. Can anybody explain to me this white vehicle? Oh, Brad Weber. Is the white vehicle Brad Weber? Shelby saw an older man with white hair. I mean, is that Ron Logan? Shelby saw 2 cars were already there when Shelby and Daniel parallel parked along the road. Derek's white Subaru all-wheel drive wagon and Dave McCain's black Honda. Okay, so that could look like Richard Allen's Focus. Shelby got a phone call from her dad at 2:53 p.m. She got a phone call. Shelby saw vehicle 1 and vehicle 2. I don't know what everybody thinks about that. Let's catch up with what everybody's saying. Jenny, they scared. They probably have a sense of who was involved. Well, me too. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going to read some of these. Well, me too, Jenny. If I could have ever figured out what he was getting at, I would have run with it myself. After his videos, so many fans were thinking and acting like they got it. Well, Logan is dead and Vinlander don't live in this town. So Daniel Pearson, okay, this is a good one. Lock your doors, so Civil Monkey said. Purple A Maryless. Daniel Pearson lied about when he was there with Shelby. So many lies, but so many people hate this case. Yep. Red herring. That's Brad Holder's hat. Sorry, I'm just going through everybody. Yes. Didn't McCain want Logan's property? Yes. Remember, people, don't feed the trolls. Remember, people, don't feed the trolls, and they go back under the bridges they came from. Yep. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Oh, good morning, Reby. Hey, Reby, we are glad you're on. We need you to remove. We had some pretty nasty guy in the comments earlier. I didn't want to remove him because I didn't want to be like that, because it wasn't like that mean, but it was enough to kind of where you probably would have removed him. Okay, let's go now. This is okay. It's still 4:51 in the morning Pacific time. Holy cow. Okay. Shelby Hicks interview. Did we read Shelby Hicks interview? And forgive me, it's so early. Did I just get done reading? No, I don't think I read Shelby Hicks, right? One second. If I did, I'll be able to figure it out here shortly. Yeah, yep, I did, right? Yeah. Sorry. It's early. Okay. Next one. Six found arranged on the girls' bodies. Glove vehicles on the scene. Timeline. What is this timeline search? Okay. Which is okay. This is 26 pages. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, this is the timeline of the FBI by Katie Cox on February 13th. Libby and Abigail. It was the last time they'd be seen alive. The girls went missing. So 1:30 p.m. 2:07 p.m. Libby posted on her Snapchat account showing Abby. We've all seen that walking across the bridge. Reedy, you also missed. We went over issues on the cause of death and how to find the exact time when someone dies from from insects on the body, the digestive system, the stomach stiffening. So we went through that. Okay. Between 2:30 and 5:30, the girls had a set time to meet with family members to be picked up. When the family showed up to get them, they were nowhere to be found. Okay. 5:30, after family could not locate the girls, they finally contacted the Carroll Sheriff's Police. And then we had Jamie Boyer with Michaela Hartman posted, okay, everyone, I need help. Abby and Libby are missing. They want to walk on the trail on the High Bridge. We have no contact for the last 4 hours. I mean, I don't need to read this. I want to go more in the suspects, but just a second here. February 16th, this is interesting. A search warrant was issued at a home on Bicycle Bridge Road. Police spent 2 hours taking photos and collecting evidence. No arrests were made. Know what that is about. Bicycle Bridge Road, if anybody in the chat knows that. Bicycle Bridge Road. Okay, I'm going to remove this guy's face off here. Okay, so let's see other stuff that I feel is compelling. Okay, so thousands of people, public gathering. What is this? February 19th, the man in the photo is officially named as the prime suspect. I assume that's Bridge Guy. The FBI announced that is utilizing approximately 6,000 electronic billboards in 46 states to solicit information about this case. I mean, this was just so big. Seeking information on the Bridge Guy. God, I remember seeing these Bridge Guy photos. Let's see when we get to the Ron thing. Is that Pat McAfee that speaks for the NFL? Was he actually? Oh, yeah, because he's from Indiana. He actually was talking about the case. Wow, okay. Okay, this is just 11,000 tips came in. The property owner, Ron Logan, was never named a suspect in the girl's murder. What? March 16th, state and federal authorities execute a search warrant at the home of the Carroll County man who owns the property where 2 teenage girls were found. The property owner was never named a suspect in the girls' murder. They called the search a normal part of the investigation. These people are insane. And of all these tips, there was nothing on Richard Allen. I mean, think of that. And he's working in downtown Delphi. I mean, he totally got railroaded. Okay, let me go into other suspects. Sorry, this is 26 pages of just the breakdown and timeline of the case. Let's go back into the Google Drive. So we did Shelby Hicks, we did Daniel Pearson, we did Elvis Fields. Nothing's loading. Bear with me, people. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see. February 15th, 2017. What do we got here? Let's just look up. I want to show you guys that Brad Holder post with Logan. Let's see if I can find it. Just by a general search. Okay, here it is. Okay, this is the one that creeps me out. Here, hold on. Let's take a screenshot and I'll share this with everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, please. We got to get more likes on the page. Every time we do a live stream, we get like one person that likes it. So let's see here. 1 second. Here is I'm sure you guys seen this, right? The Brad Holder post. And if anybody ever wants to join the Discord, just let me know. tedinvestigates@gmail.com. I'm going to start reading some comments here. The pedo guy. Was that where somebody's cousins lived, like Keegan or someone? Hi, Jenny. With the white car, I think they traced the phone from the Dropbox there. Wish John Mellencamp could get involved. John Mellencamp, that's funny. Why, Jenny, catch me up? I'm sorry, I would have been there, but my dog passed. The white car on the Sandful cam looks... Okay, so does everyone see this? Had to take Logan to Delphi. This should be fun. So there's a connection here. I mean, there's 100% of connections. I'm going to write that down. So we got Ron Logan, Brad Holder. Those are my two guys. And you had Logan dating Abby. So we have a connection right here, right? God, it just doesn't. So in Brad Holder, you have him checking out of his work, right? You have him checking into Logan's sport. You have Logan, which could be the sketch of the younger boy. These are the three people. And then you have Keegan Klein that is talking to the girls the day of the murder to bring him on the bridge, right? To say, hey, why don't you meet with this like good looking, like fake catfish account? And I can't put these pieces together outside of, I don't know, just so like meth, Odinism. I mean, the FBI report, they said tree branches were placed on the body to hide along the riverbank. Where did you get that sketch? Just on a Google Drive. Okay, let's see what else. Thank you, Reby. Okay, let's go to the next photo. Everybody's up early with me. I appreciate it. Or what time is it in So it's 8 p.m. in Indiana, or depending on what part of Indiana. It's 7 where I live, and it is 5 in the morning where I'm at. Okay, let's see. Brad Holder. Okay, wait. I'm going to search Ron. Let's search some Keegan Klein stuff. Keegan on this FBI Dropbox thing. Keegan Klein. Nothing. Weird. Nothing. Absolutely nothing out of all these documents. Nothing on Keegan Klein. That is crazy. Okay. Unless I'm spelling it wrong. Keegan Klein. Weird. Okay, wait. Case against Rick. Let's go back. Let's go back again. Brad Holder, Valentine's Day. Brad Holder talking about Logan. Let's go back a little further. Please report the person of interest. Hold on. Let's go to the interviews here. Mary Jacobs interview. Okay. I don't know if we read the Mary Jacobs interview. Let's read this. Okay, February 14th, Mary's brother Elvis Fields was oh wait, did I read this? Mary's brother Elvis Fields was rambling, hyper, and borderline incoherent. He was talking about having a brother, even though Elvis had no male siblings. All right, he's probably on meth or something, and is now part of a gang. Elvis told Mary that he'd been on the bridge with the 2 girls that were killed. Elvis told her that someone named Abigail was a pain in the ass and a troublemaker. She said Elvis tried to give her a blue jacket and told her she told him that she had her own jacket. I think I just read this. I'm sorry. This is very early in the morning for me. After Elvis made these statements to her, she later became aware of the Delphi murders and put 2 and 2 together. Sometime 2 to 3 weeks after Elvis made statements, Mary and her husband Troy drove to Delphi. While in Delphi, Mary talked to law enforcement about Elvis Fields, told her on February 14th about spitting on one of the girls. All right, so we have Elvis Fields. This is just too many people here. The all, what does it say? The All Eyes website and media posts, well case files and transcripts. Ted, did you get my email? I wasn't sure. No, I did not. You know what? I'm at a work event. I am going to check emails though soon. I'm sorry. I've been I'm kind of by Huntington Beach right now. So I'm doing like work stuff. I apologize. I haven't been checking my email, but I promise I'll check it once I get back. Or I'll check it at some point today. It's just tough because I'm in like a all-day conference thing. Okay, let's see what else we have going on here. Okay, Shelby Duncan. Did we speak about Shelby Duncan's interview? Is this the same? Yeah, I think I did, right? Let me see. Shelby Hicks, we did. Shelby Duncan said she arrived at the trail in a deep purple vehicle. Upon arriving at approximately 2:50 p.m., they can't arrive at 2:50 p.m. and be at the south end of the bridge at 2:50 p.m., but whatever. Shelby Duncan saw Shelby Hicks' white car was parallel parked along the road. The lot was already full, so Cheyenne also parallel parked along the road, similar to Shelby Hicks. The car in the right space was an older model, possibly red, but she's not sure. David Riley's red Honda Ridgeline. The car on the left was a little newer, lighter color, but not sure. Both cars were 4 doors and not SUV. Shelby saw an older man with a camera. Okay. All right, let's go back. All right, I want something of more substance here, people. Let's see. February 18th. Liggett report on Brad Holder. All right, let's see what Liggett probably was like. You're innocent. It's Richard Allen. Okay, here's Liggett's report. Okay. Brad Holder stated his son Logan, 16 years old, was a friend of Abby. On Monday the 13th, Holder received a text from Delphi Police Department asking him to call back. Holder called the officer back and had a short conversation stating that he never met the girls. The state police asked if they could examine Logan Holder's phone, and that while they were collection, SIC, excuse me, I might have to sneeze here. I guess not, phone, they informed Logan and Brad that the girls were deceased. Holder stated that he visited Delphi every weekend to hang out with his friend Patrick Westfall. Westfall lives in Delphi and was a friend of Holder in the Army. Holder and Westfall served in Afghanistan together. While Holder goes to Westfall's house, he brings his son Logan. And again, this is Liggett's breakdown. Logan and Westfall's son generally go to Canal Park and play basketball. Holder believes that this is when Logan would contact Abby. Holder never actually met Abby, and he believes that Logan only met her one time as they attended different schools. Holder knew Logan to communicate with her on the internet with his phone. Holder provided Westfall's phone number as blank. He also stated that Westfall suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and is on disability. Holder continued to state that he and Westfall started a tribe of Asatru followers. He described Asatru as a warrior religion, white supremacist group popular with members of the military. Not all military members, okay? This is white supremacists. I have a bunch of family that are in military. They're not white supremacist people. Holder, Westfall, and Westfall's girlfriend, Rachel Miller, host Asatru, meetings every Sunday at Westfall's house. Holder stated that there are only 5 to 6 regular members that attend. God, I'd love to attend something like this. I wonder if I could get into this. Holder was asked where he was on Monday. He stated that he was at work driving machinery at Waste Management in Buffalo, Indiana. He clocked out between 2 and 4. Okay, so if we have that, I don't think they have video evidence of clocking out. I think it was that timestamp card. But after work, he went to the gym, workout anytime in Logan Sport. Action, request, follow-up. Tony Liggett. Okay, that's what we got on our Brad Holder. Yeah. Well, so Bob Mata is going to be on. Hey, good morning, Bellamy. Bob Mata is going to be on tomorrow. I think Bob Mata does a good job breaking it down. I know a lot of people might not disagree with him, but he's very him and Erica Burkhart do a wonderful job when I watch their podcast in breaking it down and talking about Melissa Obert and discussing a lot of the different things that went wrong about the case, because I believe her name is Andrea Burkhart. She was there in the courtroom, okay? So I think she does a wonderful job. And Bob Mata is going to be on at 6. So, and a lot of people were giving me grief. I mean, I just reached out to Bob Mata. I was like, hey, I'd love to have you on the show. You know, I just want, you know, as many people as possible, right? And I think the way he breaks down stuff, he keeps it simple, right? Sometimes, I mean, this case has a lot of what you guys call tentacles, and there's so many different people. I mean, right here, I'm just writing down Ron Logan, Brad Holder, Logan's son. You have Elvis Fields. We went over, God, I can't believe Elvis Fields. I mean, he is a deranged individual to admit to the murders. I can't wrap my head around admitting to murdering people and then being very specific in saying that you spit on the girl's face as well. And you're calling Abby a pain in the ass, the 2 girls you met on the bridge. I can't wrap my head around that. The detail. And then Keegan Klein, the coincidence of talking to the girls at that same time. I mean, we have just so many different things. And then with the Dropbox, I mean, are these guys all just a bunch of perverts that are sharing like child, I don't even know if I can say it, pornography? I mean, it just blows my mind, the angles of this case. Yep, Mata was at the courthouse too. Good morning, Franny Fran. Good morning. Good morning. Yep. It is I'm in Huntington Beach, so I was up at like 3 a.m. We started this. We're at like 5 o'clock right now. I am extremely tired. Yeah. It is a bunch of sick people. Well, if you do talk to Bob, can you ask about Gull retiring? Oh, for sure. We're going to do a live call in too. If you guys have questions for Bob, call in. Talk to Bob Mata. He's going to give me a lot of his time. My flight gets back to O'Hare like 1:44 Central tomorrow, and the call's at 6, or the Zoom's at 6. Okay, let's read some other reports here. Oh, okay, here we go. February 18, 2017, Richard Allen interview. FBI files. Here we go. Testimony of Dan Dolan. And there's nothing. Completely blank. Weird. You know, when they thought his name was actually Richard Allen Whiteman because of his address, and that's kind of where it got lost in the shuffle. Okay, that has nothing on it. Next. Let's go back into the Liggett stuff. Shady Liggett. Did I read this already? I feel like I read this. This 131 pages. Okay, wait. I'm going to read a little bit about this. Did I read this to everybody? The Richard Allen, age 50 years old, born 9972, married, one daughter, Brittany, born in 94, married to Paulo Zapata. I think he's like from Brazil, right? Graduated from North Miami High School. Mullen and Liggett. You have Steve Mullen saying, okay, great. Have a seat over there. Richard Allen saying, thank you. Steve Mullen said, I don't know. I gave you one of my cards. There it is. I always give you one. Richard Allen said, you did. Do you guys want to hear this again? Did I go over all this? I feel like I went over all this, right? 6 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Central tomorrow. You should receive the notification. Make sure you're turning on all the notifications, 6 p.m. Central. And turn on notifications so you actually get it on time. Okay, let's see here. I think I did read this. Okay, one second. I want to see if there's more stuff on this Elvis Fields guy. One second. Sorry, it's just loading. Press 1. Be curious. Press 1 if you feel that Elvis Fields had anything to do with the murders. Okay. Okay, it's just loading. Give me 1 second. Let's go into court transcripts. Let's see what Tony Liggett's testimony was all about here. The court. All right, we are back on record. Mr. McLeland, are you ready? Yes, sir. Mr. McLeland, yes, Your Honor. The state would call Sheriff Tony Liggett, please. Question by Mr. McLeland. Would you state your name? Tony Liggett. And Sheriff Liggett, how are you employed? I'm the Sheriff of Carroll County. And you've been the sheriff of Carroll County since January 1st, 2023. Is that correct? Correct. And before that, how are you employed? I was the sheriff. I was at the sheriff's department as well as a deputy detective. In fact, you were you're in the unique position that were the one of the lead investigators. Is this correct? Correct. And when I say this case, I mean the case against Richard Allen. Correct. And how long have you been in law enforcement? I started in 2001. Did you have any opportunity to look at the review, or at least prior to it? Today, at some point, the motion for safekeeping that at the time Sheriff Liggett applied for the court, that Sheriff Leesenby, I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct, Sheriff Leesenby. Yeah, at some point I reviewed it. Yes. Okay. So you were able to review the document and see the reason for the safekeeping. Yes. Question. And as your time as detective and deputy, had you seen safekeeping motions like that before? Answer, I had not. No. Question. Okay. As your time as sheriff, have you seen any safekeeping motions like that? Answer, aside from that one, I have not. Question. Okay. Answer, I know they happen, but I had not seen one. Sure. Are you in agreement with the motion that sheriff at the time, Sheriff Leesenby, followed? Forgive me for pronouncing that wrong. Yes. And do you have concerns that if Richard Allen is housed in our jail, that there'd be safety concerns? Yes. And have you had any direct threats? No. Have you had any emails of any kind of information conveyed to you over social media that Richard Allen's going to be hurt in your jail? No. Okay, but you still have safety concerns? Yes. Can you tell me why you have safety concerns? Our jail is extremely small. Even at full staff, there's probably more CRT guys that brought him here today than if we at full staff in our jail. I believe we have 5 full-time, a jail commander, and we're short-staffed. Our jail commander has to fill a shift. There's only one person on duty, and at any given time in jail. And question, and as part of your safety concerns about his safety from other inmates? Yes. And is the reason for that is because this case involves children? Answer, yes. And you've been at least about the information from the filing, some of the information from the case is going to be released to the public. You understand that? Yes. And throughout the case, we've had various leaks within the community about information that's gotten out of the investigation. I mean, there's investigative leaks. I mean, this just pisses me off. Is that correct? Correct. As more information get out, okay, Dr. Walla, there's leaks, there's obsessed psychologist on this case who's obsessed, who's on the Gray Hughes Investigate show, posting on podcasts, learning about Brad Weber's car, who I personally think told Richard Allen during her counseling sessions with Richard Allen when he was going through psychosis. She laid the egg about the car to Richard Allen when he said, I was going crazy. He doesn't remember talking to his wife, saying, I think I killed the girls. I'm not sure I killed them. Talking to his dad before that, saying he's losing his mind. Then he can't remember his wife's phone call. Okay. You have a super fan. You have a fan of the Delphi case as Richard Allen's psychologist from the state. Throw that out. I mean, God, it drives me nuts that's sorry, I'll keep doing this, but I mean, what the hell is that? You have the unspent round, which is BS. You never excluded them from the DNA, which is BS. You had enough DNA strands. Okay. Then, according to Andrea Burkhart, you fired the guns to try to get it to match Richard Allen's guns. Everyone in the neighborhood had 40 calibers. You had Ron Logan. Okay. You couldn't get a chambering and an extraction mark out of that. And then you have a super fan, a fanatic person. Just like I said, the Golden State Killer had somebody following the case, was in love with the case. She passed away. She was so obsessed about it. You have an obsessed person about the case being the psychologist. That is so unlawful. That is horrible. It pisses me off to no extent. He did not get a fair trial. Just absolutely horrible. Okay. All right, let's keep reading. Okay, let's see if all right. So So the rules of evidence don't apply in trial hearings. I'll overrule the objection. And then you got Dr. Gall, who thinks she's like, Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator, like she runs the entire gladiator ring, and she chooses who lives and who dies. I mean, she is suppressing every single form of evidence that the defense has and allowing only her people. I mean, this is a rotted case. This is horrible. Question, and my point is, as more information comes out about everything, does that give you more cause to be concerned about safety in our jail? Answer, it does. And does that give you more cause to be concerned about retaliation from other inmates? Absolutely. What about when he's being transported from the jail to the hearings? Do you have concerns? Yeah, again, our transport. We don't have a transport officer right now because he has to fill in to a shift. When we do have one, we have one guy during the day, a full staff on the road. We have 2 road guys on duty at any given time. Even just normal transports to and from court are a pretty big strain of a safety concern. So you have a case that's this big and you're handling it horribly, okay? Question, and you kind of stated that, but typically when you transport someone from jail or from another facility, it's a one-on-one situation, meaning only send one officer to pick up the other inmate, correct? And at times, I think, including you, everybody within your department has had to transport an inmate. Yes, I just got back from Kentucky picking one up there. Question, and so my point is your staffing situation's so short that you have to transport times, correct? And what concerns do you have if he's housed? Let's just start with, if he's housed in a jail locally, what concerns do you have about transportation? The biggest one is manpower and safety. We're going to have to see if we can find other agencies to help us. Now, you know that part of the defense's request is that he be moved from Westville to Case County Jail, correct? And you had the opportunity to talk to the sheriff in Case County, correct? And if he moved to Case County Jail, who's responsible for the transportation? Carroll County's responsibility. Do you have concerns of that happening? I do. Tell me why. Again, finding the people to do it. It'll take more than one person to do it. As people concede today that it's going to take more than one person to make transport, to even make it a safe transport. Again, when you talk about weeks and stuff like that, and the court dates, the times are open, so there's a security concern making that move. Question, I mean, even today for security, you had, I think, your entire department plus an assistant of Indiana State Police. Is that correct? Correct. DNR, yeah. Okay. You have contacted the Department of Correction of any other agency to see if they would assist in transportation if he's moved to Case County Jail. Okay, here we go. Cross-examination of Sheriff Tony Liggett. Questions by Mr. Rozzi. So you're suggesting that you've talked to some other agencies about the DOC, about transporting him, and they're not really interested in doing that, correct? But did they tell you they wouldn't do it? I don't know what those words came out of their mouth. I don't think so. Did they ever suggest that if the judge ordered them to do it, they wouldn't do it? No, I don't think so. That wasn't discussed. Okay. This case involves various law enforcement agencies, doesn't it? Yes. And frankly, one of them was the FBI, right? Correct. Indiana State Police, correct. Local sheriff's police, correct. City police involved in some ways even, correct. On the fringes, yep. The state police have invested, frankly, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars into resources in this case, haven't they? Yes. And they've been very public about that. Hasn't the agency? I don't know how public they've been about it, but while holding press conferences and asking the public assistant and all these things, right? Okay, yeah. So it stands to reason that you could call superintendent of the state of police and ask him if he'd be willing to help with the transport of Mr. Allen. Maybe 15 miles from here, doesn't it? That could be a call, absolutely. And it would seem kind of odd if he said, we can't do that, right? After investing all these resources in the case, the millions of dollars, the transport and housing of prisoners is not a state police thing. It's upon the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and the judge to house, transport, things like that. So it's not in their normal realm, and I don't know if they've done that in the past, but it would certainly be a phone call I could look into. Question, They assist your department with lots of other matters, don't they? With the case, drug interaction from time to time, every once in a while, bomb threats, right? Answer, no. You ever had a bomb threat where they rolled out their bomb team and brought dogs in emergency? Not to my knowledge. Vehicles and all that stuff? Not to my knowledge. You know they do that, don't you? Sure, yeah. So it would be unreasonable to try to organize a 10 to 15 minute transport of Mr. Allen from one jail facility to another through them, would it? If that's what we needed to do, if that's what we need to do, that would certainly be attempted to do. Yes. Let's talk about this, his safety. You acknowledge that you've looked at this petition, and that was prepared by Sheriff Leesenby, former sheriff. Sorry, I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Yeah, it's been a while, but yes. And you would acknowledge that this petition, there's really nothing in here that references any immediate threat to Mr. Allen's safety back in November when it's prepared. I'd probably have to read it again. I don't recall if there was any, okay? Let me ask you, were you aware of any internet, email, phone calls, or anything of that nature where somebody called your department and said they're going to hurt this man? I don't specifically recall any of those. Okay. And it would stand to reason that if it happened, you probably would know, right? I would think so. Okay. Are you aware of any threats on Mr. Allen's life that have occurred since safekeeping order was executed by Judge Diner? Directly to us? No. Okay. What about threats on your staff's life? None. So when Mr. McLeland was asking you about your concerns about his safety, did you ever visit Westville? I have, yes. Okay. When did you visit Westville? Within the year, I believe. Okay. Did you go up and see Mr. Allen? Yes. Okay. Did you actually talk to him when you were there? No. All right. Why you go up there? Why did I go up there? Yeah. What was the purpose of your visit if you didn't talk to him? I think we went up there just to re-interview him. Wait, so you did talk to him? Okay. So you interviewed Mr. Allen at Westville Correctional Facility. No, I don't think it ended up happening. You just said you spoke to him. Question. Did you have ever go up there and inspected the cell block, at least where he's being held? No. Have you ever gone up there and inspected any aspect of the facility, the maximum detention facility where he's being held? No. Oh man, I think I'm waking people up. Sorry. So you really don't know the condition he's dealing with on a daily basis because you haven't been there? Correct. So there's two parts to this kind of dynamic. One is his detention circumstances on a daily basis, right? Where he's housed. What circumstances he's dealing with, who's supervising, those kind of things, right? Correct. The second part is just the idea of transporting him, frankly, once every few months, various miles. Correct. Okay. Do you think, okay, here. So you have a vested interest in seeing him convicted, don't you? Yes, I do. All right. Do you think that you're really the best one to be in charge of his care and custody if you think he is convicted of this? That's what I was elected to do. So yes. Okay. To do both things. Yes. All right. If there was another jail or custodial circumstance here that made a little bit more sense, would you be opposed to that? As long as if he's at Cass County, I have the transport, as long as I can arrange the transport done safely. At some point, did you receive a call from Mr. McLeland about the circumstances that I had made arrangements for Cass County? I don't know if I received a call, but I got the information, yes. And ultimately, you were the one that kind of pulled the plug on that circumstance, weren't you? No, I don't understand how. Well, you're the one who said you wouldn't agree to move him, right? At the time, correct. He was okay with it, wasn't he? I don't know what his position was. Did you ever ask? I don't know that. We had that discussion. Mr. Rozzi, okay, I don't have any further questions. Okay, direct examination. Okay, wait, this is the warden. Let me just see. Okay, so sorry about that. I'm looking for more of the mental health stuff. Kelsey's definitely a psychopath. There are definitely a lot of holes, everybody. I'm just catching up with the chat here. What is up? Good morning. Welcome to Ted Investigates. Please like and share and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Okay, let's go into some deeper stuff here. Oh, what time is it? Man, I got to get coffee. It's 5:30 in the morning. Holy cow. Okay. Oh, we're going to go over to Dr. Walla. Give me 1 second. Hope everyone's having a wonderful morning. Okay. Okay, trial. Let's go to the, oh no, not related docs. Let's go to the trial. I think I'm getting a cold, everyone. Where do we go after Walla? I mean, this is just... I'm going to be getting an interview with Dr. Walla, actually. I'm going to do my best to get an interview with her. Hold on 1 second. Walla. Untitled document. Why would I have... Okay. See what this is. Okay. Okay. When Richard Allen went to the interrogation, they figured out, once he figured out they were trying to pin it on him, he left. Okay. So they misrepresented him, what he said during the interrogation, in order to get a search warrant of his house. So this is one of the grounds of the appeals that have been raised on the appeal. He should have had a Franks hearing on this investigation. Police, in order to get a search warrant, these are the steps they had to lie to get this warrant. The detectives claimed they had attested to a certain route that he drove. To get there, he did not. They attested that he parked in a certain location. He did not. They said he was wearing the same clothing as Bridge Guy. He did not. Out of 20,000 tips of Bridge Guy, not one single person said Richard Allen, the guy that was in the middle of town working at CVS day in and day out, okay? 15 tips came in as Ron Logan. People called in. Police, in order to get a search warrant, they had to lie. So they cycled the gun with other suspects. They couldn't agree on it because it wasn't accurate. But with Richard Allen, they said it was a home run. They first cycled the gun. They couldn't find any marks, okay? And Andrea Burkhart said that Melissa Oberg then put the bullets in Richard's gun, fired the bullets, and said they matched, okay? That was a piece of evidence they had against Richard, where it was an apples to oranges comparison. Gold told the defense guy with expertise with bullets that she would not let him present. I don't know how to pronounce this, but the metallurgist, the person that can look at bullet metal, was not allowed to be part of the defense team. I find that very odd. There was DNA all over the girls, a ton of it. And there may have not have been enough SRT DNA to actually tie a suspect, but there definitely was enough of it in a strand to exclude Richard Allen. So why the hell wouldn't you exclude Richard Allen? I mean, right there is just absolutely terrible. Okay, we're going to go into more Dr. Wallace stuff. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I got the sniffles this morning. Yep, the bullet was planted. Yep. Definitely was planted. Okay. Now we're going to go. So we went over Mary Jacobs. We went over Sherry Hicks. We went over Daniel Pearson. We went over Elvis Fields. We went over Brad Holder. We went over Logan. We went over Patrick Westfall. Now let's go over the one that I think seals the deal with the Brad Weber car, is the psycho fan, Dr. Walla from Delphi. Delusional Dr. Walla. Dr. Monica Walla was a key witness for the prosecution during the October 2024. It was almost like she wanted to solve the trial herself. She wanted the limelight. There are people like that in society. You've probably worked with them. You have someone that's trying to move up in their position and are like one of those, teachers' pets that just, and there's nothing wrong with teachers' pets, but they're people that are on their own agenda. They're on their own course. Okay. The confession testimony, which I don't see any record of him ever talking about the white van. I've looked at many different papers. I see nothing outside of what Dr. Wallace stated. Okay. What she put in Richard Allen's head. Confession testimony. Here we go. Dr. Wallace testified that Allen confessed to the murders multiple times. Allen was on a lot of Hadol, was mentally out of it. And April 5th, again, we already proved that he was psychotic. He was in a psychotic episode. Okay. She said that Allen provided specific details, like using a gun, ordered them down the hill. He did not have his gun. Okay. In 5 years, why is he not getting rid of the gun? Why is he not burning his clothes? Why is he still living in Delphi? Okay. According to the notes read by Dr. Walla, Allen claimed he went to the trail, saw the girls, followed him. He had an issue with his gun that resulted in a cartridge being left at the scene. He told her he planned to sexually abuse them, but was scared off by a van. Here we go. This is what got him in the biggest trouble because of a super fan. Okay. During cross-examination, it was revealed that Dr. Wallow followed the Delphi case closely, including on social media, Facebook, true crime podcasts, where she admitted using her position to access non-public information, posting on multiple podcasts, giving her theories before she was even part of this case and while counseling Richard Allen. Allen's mental state, Dr. Wallow testified that it was fragile upon the arrival. So she's already admitting to somebody that has a major problem with a mental state. And you have this groupie, a Nirvana groupie, right? You have this hey, oh man, I'm so obsessed. It's like as big as like the Idaho 4 case, bigger. Dr. Wall testified about being fragile. The defense attorneys attempted to discredit her testimony by highlighting her personal interest in the case and argued that Richard's confessions were unreliable. A lot of the confessions were done by suicide companions where Richard was saying that he used a gun. Okay. He didn't use a gun. Okay. He didn't even know what the hell the weapon was that killed the girls. Okay. Dr. Wall testified that she was no longer employed by the Department of Corrections. Okay. Definitely. Okay. Oh yeah, I actually love this article. Dr. Wallet treating Richard Allen like it was a true crime aficionado was a violation of Indiana State Psychology Board's Code of Professional. As a psychologist, Dr. Wallet has to abide by a code of professional conduct developed by the Indiana State Psychologist Board. The code is spelled out for her in the Indiana Administrative Code Rule 868 IAC 1.1-11, Code of Professional Conduct, which she obviously can't follow. She obviously is the exact opposite. Okay. And this is what we're going to talk about. Relationships with professional practice. A psychologist should not enter into a dual relationship with a patient or client if such a relationship could impair professional judgment or increase the risk of exploitation of the patient or the client. When she admitted to being a true crime sleuth, a true crime aficionado, an armchair detective. People, let's wake up. This man is wrongly accused. She also admitted she had a conflict of interest when she accepted taking on Richard Allen as a patient prior to Richard Allen becoming her patient. Dr. Waller told the court she followed the case through true crime podcasts, social media, even engaged with posts about it. As the investigation developed, she said she became more and more involved, used IDAC database to search information the public doesn't even have access to, a violation of her contact, which ultimately led to her being fired. Think of this poor man. Think of the type of people, okay? Think about this. Think of these characters. This is insanely, my mind is blown. Richard Allen can't get a fair shake whether he's being interrogated by the corrupt Detective Holman, okay? Whether he is being screwed over by Melissa Oberg, the forensic bullet analysis, whether he's one of the first guys that came and gave his alibi when the murders happened, kept the same story consistent, putting him in solitary confinement for 13 months until he's completely out of his mind. This is someone that can't get a fair shake, okay? Now here we go as we take a deeper dive into her. She followed podcasts, online chat rooms. She commented, contributed, told people where to go for more information. She became even more interested in the Delphi case after Richard Allen's arrest. Once Richard Allen arrived at her prison, she was ethically obligated to make a formal report to her employer that she had a conflict of interest. She could not remain impartial in her treatment. And if you listen to Gray Yu's podcast, okay, because I did, a lot of it was about the Brad Weber, and she followed it, was about the white van, okay? He gives a timeline, and it's a compelling timeline with sequence of events using Google Earth. She was watching that. She was putting two and two together. Oh, okay. Well, Richard Allen got spooked when he seen the van, even though the surveillance video, and we didn't know this at the time, and neither did, I think, the podcast, it was 20 minutes after, late. So it wasn't even right. He didn't get spooked by a van. He was told that by Dr. Walla. Okay, so the time was off. So you have time off. You have cellular data. You have, he gave his phone. You have so many different things. You have people asking somebody, why did you switch phones in 5 years? I switch a phone every year. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Instead, she stayed on the case as a primary health provider. So wait, once Richard Allen was in prison, she was ethically obligated to make a formal report to her employer that she had a conflict of interest because she could not remain impartial in her treatment of Richard Allen due to her knowledge of the case, the interest in the case, the bias, step away from the case. Instead, she stayed on the case as a primary mental health provider. There's Gull, just allowing to create her own narrative. And apparently she testified that she sometimes shared information with Allen about what she saw online. What? So she's watching, Gray Yu's podcast, right? Or other podcasters. And again, I have a level of respect for these people. These people have exact timelines. These people are breaking down exactly the case through Google Earth, talking in deep dives on Brad Weber, on when the car was seen. She is following, she is commenting on these chat threads. Now she is trying to piece it together while talking to this guy. What? She says it was all positive. You have supporters, but she shouldn't have been going or Googling his case. She shouldn't have been relaying that information to someone going through psychosis. She should not have been relaying any information to someone like that on psychosis. She is completely out of her freaking mind to do that to somebody. That is just as bad as anything could possibly happen. Okay. Looking up the case, finding all the details, relaying it to a guy that's going through a psychotic period that Richard Allen was going through. You're telling him specific information because you're a true crime sleuth yourself. You're obsessed with the case. You're addicted with the case. You're sharing, you're commenting on online forums, and then you are explaining and telling someone who is psychotic, who is under psychosis, who is having a mental health crisis. You are giving him bits and pieces of things that he doesn't even know. And then you are saying he said he got spooked when he saw the van because you know the timeline and you brought up the van, even though the timeline was 20 minutes off. So he couldn't possibly got spooked by Brad Weber's van. I'm reading this and I don't even know how Judge Gull lets this person on the trial and stand trial. This person should have never been allowed in. This case should have been shut down. Okay. So she stayed on the case as a mental health. She says it was all positive. You had supporters, but she shouldn't have been Googling his case. She shouldn't have been relaying the information to him in any way, shape, or form. Maybe stayed on the case because she wanted to help solve the case, okay? You're not an investigator. Quit. You are doing so much harm to this man's life. He is sitting in jail for 130 years because you are a person that's into true crime. And there's nothing wrong with being into true crime, but there's something wrong with being the psychologist of a suspect and giving him ideas when he's going through psychosis of what happened and sharing insight that he doesn't even know about. Okay. Whoa. This is, we have to fight this, people. I'm going to be going in Delphi. We have to figure this whole thing out. As we went over Ron Logan, Brad Holder, Elvis Fields earlier, there's a lot to this. There's a lot to this Dropbox. This is this weird child pornography, meth addicts, and the murder of 2 sweet innocent girls. But we have a botched court case that we have to get a post-conviction and an appeal for, that Bob Mata is going to be on. Okay, so I'm going to keep going because I just blab. They said she's been obsessed with the case from the start. Would you give up the opportunity to finally be involved in the case? She was obsessed, except she was in a position of influence, power to coerce a confession out of Richard Allen. Whether those confessions are true or not, it doesn't matter. Her position was such an influence power that could exploit her patient. Yeah, whether or not at this point, this is a mistrial. This is a clear God, I don't want to swear. This is a clear mistrial. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even, which 110% is not Richard Allen. But if it was, even if he was guilty, someone like this on the case, it would clear mistrial. Clear mistrial. How is this not a mistrial just by this? Okay. Will she face any consequences under the Indiana Code, Title 25, Professions and Occupation, Article 1, General Provisions, Chapter 9, Health Professional Standards or Practices, disciplinary sanctions? She lost her position at the prison. She's still a contractor, okay? I mean, what this article, and I'm going to actually save this article. This is one of the most impactful articles you could actually find watching the timeline, okay? And I followed the Gray Hughes timeline. It is to a T. You have somebody that can break it down that good, right? And I'm not giving anybody credit. I understand there's some people that follow him, some people that don't, but he's got his timeline down. And if you're a super fan and you're following that timeline of Brad Weber, you are 100% understanding the timeline, but you're not getting the right times down. So if you have, if you're hinting at him when he's going through psychosis, telling him he's seen a white van, he's agreeing. He thinks he's God. He's eating his own feces. Okay, he's banging his head against the wall. The jail guards don't care. They already think he's a child murderer, right? So, like with anybody, if I think you're a child murderer, I could give 2 shits about what you're doing in prison, right? If I truly believe that, I hope you rot. I could care less. I could care less if you get water or food. I don't care about you. You murdered 2 girls. That's how the guards were, thinking, right? So they thought he was guilty right from the start. You have an aficionado, true crime lover as the guy's psychologist. I mean, this guy can't win, right? So I'm going to go back here to the chat box. Oh, move to... Yeah. I'm not trying to give Gray respect. I'm just saying with this timeline, if she follows the Brad Weber timeline, okay, and she follows it to a T, it's going to help her tremendously, right? At least with Brad Weber, because I've seen that video, and he had, he's got his blinders on, and it's my opinion where I don't know how you could think Richard Allen is guilty. He thinks the guy is as guilty as it ever. He is not trying to look at other opinions, whatever. That's his own channel. He can do whatever he wants. Yep. If RL ever gets out, he probably can go in public. Yep. I agree. Okay. Let's look at this. This is another... Welcome, Mimi Ta. All right, we got a new member, Mimi Tanya. Thank you so much for being part of Ted Investigates. We appreciate it. Anybody that supports, it does help. Okay, wait. I wanted to read this comment really quick. Ted, the case has gone off the tracks. I like those little emojis. We need to look at February 12th when Liberty Abbey made Kelsey mad, and Kelsey gave Anthony Schatz's account to Liberty at the sleepover. Here, I'm going to take a screenshot of that. I'm going to look that up. There's a lot. The internet's a little bit slow here at the Westin, but that is something that we need to look into. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Big love to the Muds. That's how she got so precise on her timeline. Exactly. That's how she got precise on her timeline. Because if you watch, the, that, yeah, exactly. Gray Hughes pretty much created the timeline. I mean, he did. I watched it. Um, he gave a timeline and he is as certain, and the people in that chat follow him religiously in terms of they are not against him. If you're against him in the chat, you are removed. Okay. And again, I'm not throwing shade at another channel, but the timeline he created, okay, it can be believable if you don't have all the facts. So if you're watching that and you're listening to him and he's been on the air, and again, I know people dislike him because he's asking for money, and he might, he has his own way how he runs his channel. Don't watch it. That's my thing. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I'm bringing up Gray Hughes because of that Google Earth timeline where he's got the car in that Adobe Premiere software he has, which I would love to get. And he actually probably showed Dr. Walla the Brad Weber thing, 100%, 1,000%. It even says that in the court documents. Okay, let me just catch up with the chat. Welcome, Mimi. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. It is, holy cow. It's okay. So I've been doing this for 2 hours. I got up at like 3 o'clock in the morning here in California time. This is, I got the person in the hotel next to me, like pounding on the wall, like, hey, would this guy shut up? No, I'm kidding. Let's see what else. I'm checking up. Keith, what up? Keith is on. Keith had a really good, I can't even remember. I took a screenshot actually. Keith said something really, really bright the last episode. And now I was out too late with the work group, so I'm a little foggy. I can't remember what was said, but it was great. I took a screenshot of it. This case has broke many hearts. Okay, let's see here. I watched Gray Hughes, and that's why I think Richard Hell is guilty. I started watching Defense Stars of Bob Dallas. Exactly. So if you watch Gray Hughes, it's very pro Richard Allen being guilty. So if you don't open your mind to anything else, and I'm not like saying that against you, I'm just saying like if you literally just watch Gray Hughes, he's going to put a timeline that's put together well, that's done methodically, and it's going to look like Richard Allen is guilty. There's no conversation about Ron Logan. There's nothing about, very little about Brad Holder. Everybody's discredited. Again, I don't want to I'm not bashing the channel. I'm just saying he is a very against Richard Allen. He thinks Richard Allen is guilty. But if you open your mind and look at other things, because on the internet, everyone has their take, right? Everybody's kind of like their own little detectives. Well, it is not as easy as that timeline makes it, but I agree with pinning. Dr. Wallace saw that timeline, saw the Brad Weber. I don't even think at the time Gray Hughes knew that it was a 20 minutes off of surveillance. Now, a lot of things he does know the surveillance isn't matching, but that was something where it totally was completely off. And I think Dr. Wallace saw that and she wanted to play the hero. She was obsessed with the case. Yep, exactly. I like that. Dedication. I don't think Walla was so employable and did what she did. And she was sacked. Yeah. Bob Mata always said from the beginning, attack the timeline. This timeline is a joke. 100%. Bright. Oh, wait. I just saw something. Gray Hughes got cozy with Libby's family early on, and he's had way more influence than he should have done. Exactly. Please, everybody, like and share. Dedication. I don't know. Dedication. Yeah, I'm trying. Walla and GH were buddies for sure. After the case, let me see. After the case, I'm not brainwashing anyone, but Kelsey went mute when Carroll County questioned her the summer of 17 till Dr. Phil. Yep. Wow, we got so many people here in the chat. This is amazing. I am running out of energy. Do I have a coffee or is there anything in this room? It is still pitch black outside here in California. I'm not used to Pacific Standard Time. Holy cow. Yeah, yep. Yeah, Susan Hendricks too. Man, she was all about wanting Richard Allen guilty. They're all at CrimeCon hugging each other. You know, how I don't know how you could live with yourself. And she seems like a sweet, good lady, but she's sitting there like, yeah, we got it. Like, have you not looked into the story? You're a professional journalist. Are you gonna just believe one side? I mean, a person could just do a little bit of digging and see that Richard Allen is, you know, there may be people out there that think he's guilty, but you could just do like 2 minutes of digging, typing, and if there's not a question of doubt that gets raised in your mind, there's something wrong with you. And I'm not a person to judge people, but my God, if you're that matter of fact on this case where you think it's Richard Allen, you have not looked into the case one bit. You are making your money with the mainstream media. You are collecting your paycheck and you're saying whatever the heck. You're literally reading from a teleprompter and you've done no homework because you don't care. You just want to cover cases and not take any deep dives, which whatever. That I guess that's her job and that's what she does. But it is goofy because like I would be embarrassed being at any type of event with those people if I was like some major media outfit. And think it was Richard Allen. And that matter of fact, like it looks like a group of devil people together that are like, what's wrong with America? Like we're here to protect the people, that we're here to seek justice and what's right and what's wrong. Yeah, those CrimeCon photo, God, we should find it. They're all like, hey, we're here with Holman. We're all, Richard Allen, Frya, 100, you're 130 years. This person's going to jail for 130 years, and we haven't, taken the time. We got Jerry Holman thinking he's in the WWF trying to body slam him during the interrogation. I mean, it's crazy. Criminal Con, that's great. Crime Con is need to be named Criminal Con. Yeah, when I saw those people get together, I thought that was crazy. So she really did. She really distributed some of that Kool-Aid. Holy cow, you are right. And she's probably a good person, but my God, that Kool-Aid, she's serving that up day and night. Yes, join Discord today. We'd love to have you on. All right, everyone. Well, it was really nice. We're about 2 hours in. Mormon's own CrimeCon. Yeah, that's probably true. I am running out of energy. I need to go get a coffee. Some people just want to be on the winning team. Yeah, I know. Right. Exactly. And then there's another true crime person who I'm not going to say, but she loves showing her face with that group of people too. And she's like a big true crime person. And I can't even believe she doesn't even do her research on the case. But again, I don't know if she's getting juiced or whatnot, but it is sick. Yeah, he got promoted twice in the investigation in the ward of merit. I mean, this is comedy. This is so funny. This is hilarious. All right. Well, I've been up since 3:00 California time. I had a late evening last night, so I think it is time for me to say bye-bye, if that's okay. I hope this chat was a little bit beneficial. I mean, it's always great to read what everyone has to say. I'm just struggling right now I actually could go to sleep because my meeting is not until 9. And what is it? I guess it's 8:00 where I live, but it's still 6 here. I'm running out, and I definitely need a coffee because if I don't get coffee, I am going to fall asleep in my breakfast plate. You guys have a great day. Everyone have an awesome day. Please join Discord. Please like, please share, subscribe if you haven't. And turn the notification on because we have Bob Mata. I'm going to be exhausted because I have a 4.5 hour flight tomorrow, but Bob is going to be on 6 p.m. Central. I'm sure he's going to lead the show, which is great. He is going to talk. He's a wise man. Yeah, I know. I definitely need a multivitamin. Hey, if anybody's in California and want to swing by and say what's up, I'm near Huntington Beach. So feel free to send me a text. We could meet up and talk turkey. But yeah, I'm in, where am I? Costa Mesa, and we're going to be in Huntington Beach tonight for some silly work event. But yeah, feel free to shoot me a text. I'll see you guys at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day and hit that like. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.